Okay, I'm looking back about 7 months on a weekly chart with the line chart only. And this is how I do a top-down analysis. So I'm going to look at the closing prices. And so just the line chart's very, very big deal, I think. It gives you a nice, quick and dirty analysis. You don't have to think about this. And this is a different kind of indicator I'm running. This is how it used to run. This 100 pip grid used to run with the labels there. So this is a different one. I found this one out there, which is very nice. Big fat numbers there. And you can see instantaneously the one with the most ATR here. Always this pound to New Zealand is always the most mind-crushing amount of pips. The thing is, the deadest amount is Australia, New Zealand, and I'd say this comes in at the deadest amount of pips per year. Because this is almost, if you stack these 100 pips, this is about 1,000 pips here. So I started the template out with everything hard done, everything set to, this scale of whatever the market's giving for the last known stuff. Now, the thing is if you frame these, if you frame stuff in a way that only you can't keep looking back. You could, but it's going to be hard to make decisions unless you can break down some of this stuff into a more simplistic view. A child's view, which would be if you put a child in front of the screen and you tell them which thing is going down the worst and which thing's going up the worst. Now, a lot of people are going to look at the whole chart, or they're going to look at the last thing it's doing. So if you said to somebody, what is the last, which one's bullish and which one's bearish, that's going to be pretty easy, I think. So if you can't do that, then you should probably, or if you can't see what's going up and down, you got to get an eye exam, or you're just mentally, you don't have the IQ to do it, or whatever that thing is. Now, certainly the rate of up and down is going to be, you could actually measure that on here, but you are at the angle is at the mercy of the ATR because I have not fixed the scale on these. This scale is so scrunched down because this thing moves so damn hard all year it went down. And right there, you've already changed your view. Right, this is like if you had a 12-cylinder Jaguar and one of the cylinders had no spark plug. Sure, it runs, but if you're going to race the thing, you're going to lose X horsepower. So, I look at this as like race car driving, or at least this is supposed to be really dangerous and risky to trade. It's supposed to be kind of... I don't even think it's socially acceptable, to be honest with you. It's not quite kiddie porn, but it's certainly not something to brag about to people that, well, I don't know, the people I grew up with, I met them on Facebook years later, and now they're all flaming liberals, so it's kind of tough. I had some, I just made a comment, because I hear no reply, when I said that the people at Walmart should just go out of business because they're paying too low a wage. So how do I just get rid of everything? All or nothing, right? All or nothing thinking is almost like what you're seeing out there. So we're either gonna do it or you're not. Trading's very compromised. It isn't an all or nothing thing. So I'm gonna just mark this up with a trend line based on the last price pulse, which is severely down. So if we go through each chart and just throw it on there, the ones that are just stick out really hard, you can't deny these moves. This is down, right? Can we all agree that I'm not going to look back though. I can't look back. I will look back a little bit for just the horizontals, but what's the most important thing right now is which one of these is going to hell. And so this is my next week's target for trading a bounce. It's too late for me to sell this. I'm not jumping on the sell train unless I'm on the 1 hour or the daily chart and I see it pause, right? But even that, I don't feel comfortable when something is this outrageously over. And of course, this was aching to happen because we had such a huge run up, so everything is correcting. This one's just starting to get the party started, but this one doesn't move that much. But these two guys move in concert quite a bit. Sometimes they're synced up. So some of these things do sync. Now, those are definitely obliterated. I don't see anything other than pound to Australia that's really going the other way. This is definitely the other side of the coin. Same thing here. So Australia's just getting its ass kicked, and Australia's in trouble there. It's trouble against the yen, so this is going down, that's going down. But it's a little complicated now. If you get your brain around this thing, oh, well, you know, another way to do it is delete everything and just run Australia to the other currencies, right? That's what you really should do. So let's just look at that, right? So look at the most severe, and who's going to be the first one to cave against Australia. So if you just take out everything in here and just go pure Australia. Because it is so complicated. Forex is like a Rubik's Cube for me. I hope I'm not alone in the confusion of, and then there's also not a leading pair on some of this stuff. There is no leading pairs. There's no like, well, it's always like this. Okay, so we're down to just the Australia pairs here, I think. So you whip this up into a tile, and now it's a little bit easier. And if you made Australia lead, that would make it easier, you know, for me. So if you just went like this, and you said, okay, I'm just going to donate this whole thing to Australia. Now it's a lot easier for me to trade like this, personally. And if I'm going to try to trade this bounce, which I'm going to try to trade actually. So next week, it's all about this damn Australia dollar getting its ass kicked all the way to Tuesday. And I'm just going to pick the amount of pips. So, now in this instance, this is weekly. I would just say, hey, this is going to sound pretty stupid, but let's buy it here for a 50 pip bounce and just a whole bunch of orders there. And definitely coming into next week, I will buy here for certain and here for certain. So I got 3 buy limits there. Same thing here, I got a buy limit here, and that one is going to get out here. So if I buy here, I'm going to exit here. This is going to be the doji, a buy limit sitting here for a bounce. There's a bottom here. So coming into a bounce trap. This is Scalpville as far as I'm concerned. And we're going to see a little chop, I suppose. After a high drama move like that, this not so much. High drama move, 100 pip bounce, clean, on close weekly. Then slam. And amazing moves. So I would have to go to the daily for now daily I would scrunch it down. You could scrunch it down here even with this many charts, but you can see how brutal the Australia cat is, where this actually is in kind of a trend. This is all Chop City. This is going nowhere. I really am expecting this in the end to someday, but it never made it, break into this void. We're caught in a range trap. But look at this. Look at these nice entries here. Double top window. So stupid. Now we buy down here. I go to the daily, You can see all the supports here. Forget those stupid wicks. They're just going to confuse you. And look at this doji here. Capture that. It's the beautiful world like this. Now I would zoom it in. Get some perspective for the entry here. So it's going to be like this. If this is your double top, this is your current channel. So if you're going to cue that off of this bottom became a double top, find an envelope, say off of that, and copy this whole thing over. Maybe that's too shallow. But you can see how these things go. Like if you took this reference point of just these two inflections here, find the break where that breaks down, and just copy that. That should be the top of this channel. So it should touch here. Get a double top there. So actually this is a little off. If you really had this locked to this, and you copy this over, you get a better channel. See how they touch exactly? I should probably make this a different color though, because it's a little confusing, I suppose. Hell, I never know what color to make it. But that's your horizontal price. So this is your price. These are all your pivots. There is a, so you can count this stuff up. It's not that hard. It should. This is pretty much. This should be easy, right? This is the bottom. This is. I mean, this is a triangle. And here's the bat wing. You're right in a bat wing. See, the bat wing's not out here. You're not looking at a bat wing like this. Well, I guess I'm speaking for myself here, but you know, the bat wing. Having this big bat wing out here, all that matters is this thing is marching down this line. If we buy here, we get out there. That's the trade. Well, that's my trade. These are volatility breakouts right at the round number. Collapse. You don't need to look at these wicks. If you're trading with 100 pip stops, you just don't care. Okay, you're looking to make 100, you're looking to make 150 with a 50 pip stop. So this would have been your 50 pip stop. Now, the thing is, that should be a limit order. You should have a sell limit at that. I'm sure they wicked up in there and got filled. So if you want to double check this stuff, you run that line like this, and then you turn on the wicks. The bars, not the candles. The candles, just forget it. Don't ever use candles. Just try not to ever use them. I mean, they're okay. They're great for dinner. They're great for candlelight dinners. Don't trade with them. It's going to screw your brain up. You start thinking, oh, bullish candle, bearish candle, engulfing. Oh my God. This is going to be a problem. I will not be responsible. Look how beautiful this double top is. You could build a whole momentum off this fractal. Look at that thing. Look where that touches. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam. When all roads lead to, when all this stuff, these vectors come together, if you take this line, you draw that. Breakout, almost pull back perfectly there. Look at how that thing does that. And you got this breakout. Oh, there's a steeper trend line in there. So that was the first bounce. And then they finally got the party started. You can finally draw your first trend line here. And just nice and sharp. Just 1, 2, 3. Come back again. Come back. We're hitting it now. I'll give a little more room on that. Because if you hang it off of this, you're saying the setup, the entry window, coming into the window now. So now I would fix the scale on these. So you can find the entries here. And you can see You can back test visually. I know if Jason's watching there, this guy that's talking about the back testing it. Hindsight, you need to prove your theory works just by the fact that you put these lines up here. You have to prove your confidence in placing orders and pivots. So if pivots really work, so you have to prove this pivot theory. You basically take this chart and you're gonna mark this low, and then you're gonna copy that, and you're gonna mark this double bottom. You're going to mark this bottom. If you can see this bottom here, becomes this bottom, becomes this bottom. Dead on. The daily close, dead on. Right? So it doesn't matter whether that's a conspiracy or not. It's just that is a great closing price. Everybody loves it. And if you turn on the 100 pip grid, you'll see whether or not that is a round number. And sure enough, right between those two lines is a round number. So that's and that window doesn't look like it just, it evaporates when you start to go like this. Now, I know people do run charts like this. I mean, there's people out there with their charts like this, don't forget, right? So look at this. Look at it here once again. It's a big deal. So when you zoom out like this, all of a sudden you just change the whole landscape of the whole story. That's the head, that's the shoulder, right? Fractally, right? But there's a head and shoulders here. There's a head, shoulder. Look at this thing comes all the way back to here. Once again. So of course you want to buy here as it comes sweeping down for a bounce. Even if you're wrong, it's a high probability. Look at this test here. Comes back to here, and look, it's supposed to test here. Oh boy, that so didn't work out. And this is dropping, and this is 1 month here. This is 45. This is 100 pips per month rate of change right here. Draw through these cubes. And so yeah, you figure out how many pips a week you can make. I mean, this range trading, holy crap! They've come up into this 100 pip trap and maybe more. There's got to be some wicks on here, but this simplifies it. There's no. You could say this is the head and this is the shoulder. This is the shoulder, but what good is a bat wing if this is a bat wing here? You're like, well, look we got a confirmed icicle. We got a confirmed popsicle. You still got to figure out, okay, we going to buy right now? Is this it? You going to buy right here? Or are you wait for it to drop a little bit? So, if you go to the... and you really don't need to go to the 4-hour chart, see? If you do once you do that, you're gonna screw your brain up. Okay, you're gonna be like, oh my god, look at all these trades. You mean to tell me? Of course, now if you zoom that out, you can't even believe it, right? Look at this 4-hour chart. Can you even imagine making money off this? If you sit down and ask yourself where I would have got in, where I would have got out. You have to go through this if you're going to trade. If you're ever going to make a trade plan, you got to figure, oh, what do you do now? Maybe you put a buy limit here. So, right? You buy one at the market, you put a buy limit here, you put a buy limit here, whatever you can afford, right? Maybe this is a big fat order, but you know where you're going to get out. You got to get out here, you got to get out here, and you got to get out here. If you buy here, you've got to get out here based on that. Because this stairway to hell and stairway to heaven, that's how it all is. This top it actually breaks out, pulls back to it. Never came back to this top, this double top. It just went screaming through. Came back to here, but it did come back to the non-Fibonacci number. Look at this. At the round. Right at the round. 250 pips up. It's just a mess. You gotta plan for this mess. So, and you gotta plan out if you have enough money in the account. Look at this floor here. This went on for 3 months of. I'm sorry. This is now we're on the damn 4-hour chart. So this went on for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This week selling up here, getting out here, almost. Maybe there's a wick in here. It's almost 200 pips in 1 week. So think about buying this stuff. Think about buying these outliers. We're back here again. I mean, you can imagine you bought here, you rode it all the way to here, you rode it all the way back, and you're just like, well, I really thought it was going to go higher. There are people that have done that. Long-term traders, you know. So the idea that you moved your stop to break even, right, and you're out, and you didn't even witness, you didn't take advantage of making all that money up there. So you have to have, for me, the limit is just get the hell out. Like if I'm up 100 pips, I'm out. See you, bye. You can always re-enter on these triangles. Like after this big Blasto move, if you're selling it into this doji, right, so you're looking for the congestion clusters. Look at this thing tiptoe down into this. Just keep popping and then finally just Bonkerville. It's simply insane. And it's not easy from the standpoint, as soon as you switch time frames, forget about it. Look at the weekly. Are you serious? There's a trend there? Like, okay, Mr. Stapleton, what's the trend? What's not? There's no trend. I guess you could say the trend's down. If somebody put a gun to your head. This is the idea that you need to pick a trend is so retarded. It's on its face. This is like, why? You could say it's going down, right? Lower low. It's like, but who cares? Did it help you with any of this stuff? Maybe it helped you here. You got in this doji, but who's not willing to take 300 pip counters? Look at all this counter trend trading. It's in an uptrend. It's confirmed here. What the hell is that then? If this is like, if my trend bot is riding this thing and we're just like, yeah, man, look at, here I move my stop to break even. Oh, look at this. There's no rhyme or reason here. This is completely sideways. Kinda up. I mean, you gotta be honest. This is the only trend trade that just cleaned house. This one, but is this a trend? Trend up, trend down? I think so. This, I guess you could call it a trend, but it's really a wedge and it's just taking forever to get there. You want to be on this train. Don't we want to be on this train? Like, come on. I just don't think it's, you know, it doesn't, you don't need a PhD to see that this move is staggering. That is insane. 1 year. 1 year down. Look at this thing. It's a racket. It's like a racket. It's like, oh, well, we take it here, we take it there, we go nowhere. You know, it's like Sam I Am. This doesn't go nowhere. It's not going to be easy for people to make money at this. If they're using conventional wisdom of this isn't an uptrend, where in the hell do you get it? Like, moving average systems. It's not like I haven't tried it. The only moving average that ever worked, has ever worked, is the current moving average, which is the closing price. And it's moving. It's a moving average, but zero lag. You want lag in this stuff. Come on. Come on, people. Greg Marino. Come on, people. People, listen. It's rigged. But why not just take advantage of the easy, go for the low-hanging fruit. So here, if you have the daily set here, forget that top-down stuff. If you're going to trade on the daily chart, you trade on the daily chart. You're going to go to weekly charts. Okay, listen, if you only can trade once a week, once a month, other than that, just go to these damn daily charts. Who's got time for that crap? Weekly. Look at this thing. Weekly. There's no place to get on board. Okay, at least here you got a top, become a bottom, right? So, where's all the trades you missed? From a sell limit standpoint, let's just go to the last. So if you had to sell, and they're all going down, obviously. Let's see, one level here. So what's the best sell? It's going down, huh? Duh. It's still going down. Okay, so if I had to buy this thing, I'm going to buy here. I'm going to buy here. I'm going to buy here. So as we come walking down, maybe there's a bounce here. So maybe there's two trades here coming in. Or you're just like, well, this one's coming down really hard. This one's kind of running out of gas. This one could definitely drop another 100 pips. This one. Beautiful triple top there. Bottom becomes a top. That was your sell setup. Bottom becomes a top here almost. You don't get it here. Because these guys are neighbors. This is like dollar CAD. This is just brutal. Just all chop. You could make an argument for a trend. This too. Double bottom. And then you can turn the wicks on. So just for kicks, turn the wicks and or turn the bars on. See how big these bars are. So now you back test. Had you put a sell limit at this doji, and I'm presupposing everybody's aware of the fact that the sideways bars are dojis, and the zigzags are probably a doji on a larger time frame, so this would be a weekly doji if you went to if you switch to weekly. See, the doji's here, which is nothing more than chop. So now you can see just how crazy this is, right? Now, and it looks like a perfect world on closing price, and it should, because there is no riffraff in that. But look at this 150 pip toggle, and look at this entry here. Now, if you just pick the small bars for your stops, it'd be sell stop, sell stop. Trend traders would look to put in sell stops only when you get a small bar. This didn't qualify. Next one qualified for a small stop. This one, your protection had to be too big. Here you got buy stops running. Here you got buy stops. This, you're too far away. Better to put a buy limit now. So I would say, since this is down at the bottom of the bar, at the bottom of the session like that, sure, if it's drifting up, you get an inverted hammer. This is smaller than the other bar, so you know you could put your stop here, and you know you could bracket this, right? If you just hand place sell stops, I think they open here, they come up smash down. They never looked back. I can't tell, but I don't think they ever looked back there. And here's a small bar. There would be you got stopped out though if you had your stop here. You had to get the hell out. That's why just because you're trend trading that thing doesn't mean you're making. Just because you're like, oh look, it's going down. You have to be realistic. Like, how did you get in? So if you got in on the stop here, say, because this is a small bar, so you bracketed that with stops, and you got filled. If you moved your stop to break even, they stopped you out. So if you didn't get the hell out of that thing before they rammed it back up, they just kicked your ass. Same thing here. If you put a sell stop here, you can tell me all day how, look at, my system's making money. Yeah, if you didn't get out here and your stop, you didn't even move your stop, they slammed your face here. So it is so not. I just watched another video, and that's how the guy gets in. Now this textbook entry, let me turn the chart shift off here. I guess I was getting a little tangential, but let's just break this down. Like, imagine now, if you turn the bars on and off, so you'll be able to see the volatility here now. Just see the closing prices, those candles. Oh my God. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to retail trading, is these stupid ass candles. I remember the first, and I've got some candle books. I think I actually threw some out. But you know, it's so stupid because it's such a story. It's really like, it's terrible. I don't know. You know, it's like feng shui, right? Who cares, right? As long as you're not tripping over the furniture. It's just too much. You know, you take something, you take it too far. How about Ikamushu clouds? You seen that stuff? Holy crap. Blow your brains out. And look at the spread here. It's terrible. This is a retail broker fixed spread of 4 pips here. Or sorry, 40 pips, 20 pips, and 10 pips. It also gives you an idea how wicked. This is a fixed retail broker out of Panama. Now, if you had sold this double top here with a sell limit, say because you know you're on a downtrend and moving averages down, or you still have to have the tactical wherewithal to have a sell limit here based on this. Also realize that they're going to try to trap a bunch of bulls thinking, oh look, it's bullish, it's going up, it's going to keep continuing, and they trap them. So if you're going to sell, you need to sell here, 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 here to here, and maybe you have a sell limit here that never got filled. It's okay. It's okay. And when this goes up, the first up bar, this is the really risky trend trade, sell stop here with a stop here. But I don't know why I don't see people talking about this. Everything I see is like, oh, sell stop here. Okay, I got that. What happened with the sell limit here? Of course, it didn't get filled, right? But look when it does. And tell me that's not everybody's excited when this breaks out. They're like, oh, we just took out 3 days. We're going back to here. We've already been down here. We're going up. That's all there is to it. Well, look at it. Look at it. Oh, change your plan, kids. Oh, mom's sick. She's throwing up. Pull the car over. So, now, granted, the guy that put in the textbook trade here, but if he does not get out of this thing, he sold here. He better get out right now on something, otherwise it's coming back to his break even. Wah, wah, wah. It was very tactical game trading, and I don't know why people think no robot in the world that I know of is going to say, oh, look at this cute triangle, let me put a sell limit here. I can't even get MetaTrader to put limit orders in. It goes in on stops on everything. I don't know how to. You just the crew. I can't even get a damn thing, and nobody send me email like, oh, I know how to write. No, big secret. Big secret. What do I talk about? So sell limit here, right? This is support. So into the future, right? Sell limits not here, of course, right? This is the buy. In other words, if you're here, if you know this low exists and this comes smashing down, you're buying into that. And if you had to stop here, you're out. That's why you have to commit to buying this whole wick. If you're going to buy like here, you're buying right now, you're long, you got more dry powder, you're willing to buy this thing all the way down because this order is going to get out here next week and take something. If you just bought, if you have a buy stop sitting here or you just bought this, your scalp is to here. It may pause and engulf this whole thing and keep going up. So this is really what it's about right here. You're just looking back a couple days. I can't look left. You can't look that far left. People, do not look that far left. You're going to lose your mind. You're going to end up in traction. Why isn't this queued up? Why are these guys in the same... I can't see this last... oh, hell. Fucking no. Yeah, so don't look too far back. So this is it. This is the beginning of the month. So you can see your how you place the order here. Small bars have a particular trade plan. So if the bar gets small enough, you got the sell stops here. But unless this thing opened here and went slamming through that, no way. Did you here? If you have buy stops even here, you scalped it to here. It's definitely the sell limits. If you missed this big smash down, or maybe you bought here. See, here's another prime example. Everybody's making money on this thing. Everybody's a winner. If you started buying here, if you had a buy limit here, they poked back down into it again and they gave you that. And you made money to here. But it's very, very dicey. And look at Australia CAD. Jesus. I mean, this is brutalization. If you had a buy limit here, they just crushed you. You had to take this much heat before you made this much money. And then when this day came out, this must have been news or something. This is, I think the NFP or something, probably, right? But you had to know. It was Canadian news. You had to know that there was going to be both sides of that sandwich were going to get filled. We had to know volatility was coming. I call this the barbell trade because this is like these are the handles, and here's all the weights in the middle. This is an aerial view of oh, that's probably 40 plates on a yeah, that's just the weights are in the middle. You grab it here. Or there's the crumbling kite trade, or a kite in the tree trade. It's big. That's part of my book I'm writing. But yeah, these dojis here translate forward to another. So I say buy this guy. For this scalp to here, this guy's still going to China and then some. This is a bloodbath, but this is probably going to bounce. This is probably going to bounce. This could come down a bit more. So, buy limits are like this, right? Start getting closer based on the ATR. So you can try to sneak up on these markets. Tiptoe up on them. And yeah, Australian dollar. I think it's due for a bounce. That's all I'm saying.